Welcome to another episode of This Week in Rap podcast with Inspiretheblock. Me, your host, Inspiretheblock, the big homie, your cousin, your uncle, or just simply put to other people, just Corey. You get it because that's what, a lot of people know me by that. Only on these platforms will people know me by Inspiretheblock, but that's what I do. I try to inspire the block. But once again, thank you for tapping in with me. Time in and time out. I want to salute everybody that's been rocking with me, that's been subscribing, sharing, liking This Week in Rap podcast. I thank y'all once again because without y'all, I wouldn't even feel motivated to continue to make this content. And it's something different, right? I try to produce content that's going to be very, very different than what we got out there, but at the same time, be current. And so this is why I started This Week in Rap podcast. And before I get to going deep into what I want to talk about on this podcast today, I got to give a big salute and shout out to DJ Ynw, because DJ Ynw will be at the fifth annual Beats and Barbecue from May 24th to Sunday, May 26th in my hometown of Flint, Michigan. Now he's going to be there this Sunday from 2 to 8. So shout out, man, to DJ Ynw for showing up, man. And Flint, make sure y'all show out for Ynw, man. Don't do no bullshit. Don't have no shootings or none of that goofy ass shit. Let's have a great time because this is the kind of light that we need on our city. We need to attract people like that, man. They can come through, show love, and tell other people that they had a great time celebrating out in Flint. So once again, the Beats and Barbecue, this is the fifth one that they having. It's going to be in multiple areas in Flint. It won't just be downtown, but it's going to be in all various parts of the city. So y'all show up and show out, man, for DJ Ynw. And I want to salute to everybody that's a part of the Beats and Barbecue annual celebration that we have in Flint. So once again, man, shout out to DJ Ynw for that. That is dope, man. I would encourage all you podcasters in Flint to try to get in touch with him, right? Especially after he leave, and when he have a great time, try to invite him back to be on the podcast, and that'll bring another light to the city, and also show that the city is a little different than what's reported in the news. Yeah, I love my hometown, but I'm down here in Atlanta, rocking out, so trying to figure out these ways. Man, it's been a lot going on in this week in the news. Of course, all things Diddy. But we ain't going to get to Diddy right now, right? Because there's some other stories that I want to cover that I feel like is just as important that's been highlighted throughout the industry. And one of the things I'm going to end up doing is I'm bringing in now, introducing a little bit of sports, because sports, right, it's also rap. It's also hip hop. So how can you not intertwine sports with hip hop or rap conversations? And one of the ones I want to talk about today is, I think it's kind of bold, man. I really don't understand the whole context of it, but it's kind of bold, and it's involving Big Baby Glen Davis. Big Baby Glen Davis was sentenced to 40 months in federal penitentiary for filing false medical claims with the NBA Players Health and Benefits Plan. Now, once again, I don't know what all that entails, but I know Big Baby Glen Davis got to go do 3.5 years for some shit that seems nonviolent. Also, Will Bynum, one of former Detroit players, he was sentenced to 18 months with a number of other players that were sentenced to prison time for whatever this fraud thing was going on. But damn, 3.5 years for some fraud. Now, I don't know if they took that from other people. That would be bold. But I still think that, 3.5 years in prison for something that was nonviolent, that's kind of bold. That's kind of some bullshit right there, right? But it is what it is. I guess you got to learn to not want to be criminals at all times. Big Baby Glen Davis won a NBA championship with the Boston Celtics a year after he was drafted. So he's had a nice, successful career. Once again, I don't know what it's all about, but I hope it ain't that deep. And I hope that he can appeal those 3.5 years, because nobody needs to be going to prison for a nonviolent crime for 3.5 years. So once again, I support Big Baby Glen Davis on that. Pray for the best for him and wish all the best. But also, too, man, there's some new music dropped this week, right? And I want to give my take on some of the music that was dropped. Yes, I listened to it, and I'm not necessarily saying I like all of it, but I do like some of it. One of the songs I do like, though, I ain't gonna lie, is a song by YG called Weird, right? Now, I like YG. I ain't a big fan of all his music, but I do have a few of his joints in my playlist. Plus, I like the chemistry that him and Nipsey Hussle had together. So I really thought that song is new. All my music come off Tidal. I rock with Tidal. I don't subscribe to none of the other ones. If I'm gonna pay for Tidal. I'm gonna give Jay-Z a few dollars. So But yeah, Weird by YG is kind of slick. Check it out. Also, too, Quavo got a new joint, which is called Clear the Smoke. Now, I like it. I don't know if he talking back to Chris Brown or nothing like that, but y'all can give y'all opinion on it. Go check it out. Like I say, I'm getting all my music off Tidal. Um, Camp K got a new one. I don't know if you're familiar with Camp K. I like Camp K as an artist. I got quite a few of his songs. He kind of do his songs. He got bars, but he intertwined a lot of his music, talking about the ladies and relationships. And he got a song called For You that I think is kind of dope. So y'all need to go check that out. Also, too, finesse 2 times. Man, this guy here, wow. But that's just my opinion of it based on what I see over social media. I don't know the guy in real life, so I don't know really this is how he is. But, he got a song called Mixed Feelings that I kind of like. I think is a real good song. It's talking about his relationships with people and things that he go through. So, y'all know, check that out. Finesse 2 times, Mixed Feelings. Chris Brown got a new joint called Press Me. You gotta like Chris Brown pretty much. And then, of course, You're My Everything by Sexy Red featuring Drake. Now, in that song, Drake starts rapping over the Metro Boomin diss beat. The first ever diss beat in rap music or hip hop was by Metro Boomin and called BBL Drizzy. And Drake rapped over it. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. I ain't too big of a fan of the song in totality, but Drake verse is kind of dope. And it's kind of dope that he kind of stepping on the beat. Fuck it, why not? Do what you do with the music. He put it out there as a diss song, so you keep rocking with it. Yeah, so then they say that part was kind of dope, But yeah, right. Drake, he always can find some slick shit to do in his rap industry. I would say personally, man, if I was Drake, I would just put out a whole album, step on everything that everybody was going through, and with the music and the beat shit, just step on all of it. Had the biggest album of the year, and then everybody forget about that rap beat shit. Pretty much, yeah. People would know about it, and they'll have conversations about it. But an album, a dope ass album with some hard ass music on that bitch, will step on all of that this shit. Shoot your shit to number one. So Drake, I know you probably going to hear this podcast, but yeah, just drop a whole album. Also, man, in this week in rap, man, this is a real sad story. I hate to transition like this, but once again, this is a story that's kind of like circulating the news a little bit, and it's making its way out of Suffolk, Virginia, with this up and coming rapper named Rollo Huncho, 17 years old. Now, I don't know nothing about his music. I just saw the headline, but from what I read in the news was that he was rapping live either on TikTok or Instagram. I know one of them, and he had a gun in his hand with a green bean on it. And as he was sitting there rapping, he pointed the gun to his head and he shot himself in his head, and he killed himself on sight right there live. And I saw some of the video. Of course, I saw it when they stopped it right before he shot himself. But it's very disturbing, and it had me thinking, like, the idea that young people have with guns, and why is it always associated with rap music, right? Why do you have to have a gun in your hand and be rapping? I don't know the answer to that, but when I saw this, it just made me start thinking that we have to start educating young people properly about guns. Like, I'm not against guns. I'm a 2A advocate, right? I believe that everybody who's mentally qualified should be able to possess a firearm, especially if you're married and have children and you have a home that you want to protect. So I believe in the Second Amendment. I'm somebody that will fight for it. And this is something I'm going to talk about on my other podcast. And make sure y'all tap into that, which is the Corrected Felon podcast. Make sure y'all tap in on that. Those issues are for that. And I'm going to talk about something in the very near future, why I support the Second Amendment. But once again, young people don't understand that guns are not toys. This is why they hold them funny. This is why they constantly parade with them as if they're a toy. No, it's for your protection. And so when I saw this, I understood right then that this young brother, man, didn't even really understand that this wasn't a toy, and you don't intertwine the two, right? You keep your firearm at home. I mean, you can have it on your person if you live in one of those states, but this is not a toy and not to be played with. And him playing with it, what I saw allegedly on the video, him shooting himself in the head and dying right then. So my heart and my prayer goes out to this young kid's family. Maybe he was an inspiring artist who was gonna make it, but unfortunately, the turn of events that happened that he did live on social media is going to deter that from happening. So once again, man, I want to send positive and healing energy to the brother's name was Riley Freeman III, to him and his family. So I know they're going through some hard times with dealing with this. So once again, my prayers and thoughts are with that family. Oh, another tragic story. Right now, this week, shit just been tragic. I don't know why. The information and shit that I was coming across, it just was bad. I don't know why, but this week in rap, Ynw Melly's attorney filed motion to exclude calls made to Ynw Melly, and his homeboy, Ynw Bartland from trial evidence. So, right now, everybody should be familiar with Ynw Melly, right? He's on trial for allegedly killing two of his friends. And he has a co-defendant. And I guess based on the article, they've been talking in jail and over the phone using cold words. And the prosecutor wants to use this in evidence at the trial. And the defense attorneys is filing motions to have it excluded. Now, we don't know the context of what was said between these individuals through these phone calls while they're incarcerated. But based on the article that I read, it is they're trying to prevent allegedly from some witnesses from showing up because they just recently got charged with some new charges. And this shit is another mess too. This is, in my opinion, I'm gonna say it straight on this podcast right here. I've said it once before. I don't think too much publicly, but I'm gonna say it right now. The state of Florida is not playing with Ynw Melly and his crew. They're seeking the death penalty if they're found guilty. Based on what I know, this next trial that's coming up, they will get a guilty verdict. And they gonna get a guilty verdict for what they're seeking, the death penalty. The reason why he had a mistrial the last time is because one juror didn't agree to the death penalty. One juror didn't, but all the other ones did. And so they could not convince this guy that Ynw Melly deserved to die from the death penalty. Now, he probably thought he deserved to be in prison for the rest of his life, but not the death penalty. So, but once again, this trial is coming back up. And man, it's going to be I hate to see young brothers go through stuff like this, especially young brothers with this kind of potential and the idea that they keep mixing the streets with this music, right? You can just be the music. You don't never have to be the streets again. Like, you can just leave it alone. I don't know why they have to do this, but this is what these young people do. They have to live the lyrics. Just be an artist, right? Just all you have to be is just an artist, and be a good artist and live life financially, for one, like you want to live it. So, that's what's going on Ynw Melly. And I think that they're going to find him guilty and ultimately give him the death penalty. Not necessarily he's going to be executed, but he's at least going to be sentenced to it. He may be able to win an appeal or afterwards or something like that, but they definitely going to get a conviction that they want. Also in the news, A$AP Rocky gets a trial date. Hey, man, I don't understand why these rappers, I really don't get it, why these rappers like to become rich and famous and then be trying to kill one of their homeboys. Like, when did this become part of life after being successful? Is you shooting and trying to kill one of your homeboys? A$AP Rocky gets trial date in A$AP rally shooting after pleading not guilty. So he got a trial date coming up in October 21st of this year. He's allegedly charged with trying to kill his homeboy. He's shooting his homeboy 4 times. And apparently the homeboy is telling, right? The homeboy then filed a lawsuit against A$AP Rocky for defamation. He's trying to slander his name. But this is a whole lot of shit that's going on in the rap world where man, why y'all trying to kill your homeboys? Why not just separate from them? Leave them alone. Cut them off. Stop fucking with them. Why y'all be trying to kill your homeboys, man? But once again, I don't even, these are these situations, man, that they got to learn to separate the streets from the music and just live the music. I mean, think about it. A$AP Rocky got 2 or 3 kids by Rihanna. You know, the idea that that's your girl. This is who you with. You know, you got kids by her. Y'all living a wealthy and a fabulous lifestyle. Fuck, I need to be out here trying to shooting at people for or shooting people. Why not just live my life? Live it the way that it's supposed to be lived. Like, once again, like I said, at least financially. You don't be associating with this kind of people that you might have to kill them. No, fuck them. I don't deal with people like that now. And I'm not even rich. I'm far from it. Actually, I'm poor. The fuck? According to this society standards, yeah, I'm fucked up. Yeah, the cost of living is kicking my ass. And I don't even associate with those kind of people now. So why would I become rich and famous and have to deal with people that I might potentially have to kill? Make it make sense. This shit is just terrible. But once again, they said Rocky, he get a trial date, and got to see what's next, what's going on with him. You know, hopefully, I hope the best for him. You know, hopefully, it's a situation that they can learn from him and Ynw Melly, and just grow, become better people, and do better things in life. And now that leads me to our conversation that we're about to have. And once again, until it's over with, down to everybody in the podcast space, the media space, the radio space is talking all things Diddy. Now, just the other day, another lawsuit was filed against Diddy from a woman who was a woman by the name of April Lampros. She's a former student at NYC's Fashion Institute of Technology. Now, she say that Diddy allegedly assaulted her from between 1995 and 1998. So 3 years that Diddy sexually assaulted this woman. But in the lawsuit, you got to read the allegations. And what we're going to do, we're going to go over the allegations and we're going to just talk about it. One of the allegations, the lady said that Diddy had raped her the very first time after meeting her and they went to dinner. Right. So she said her and Diddy went out. Make a long story short, Diddy raped her. Okay. She said then on another time that Diddy forced her to perform oral sex on him in a garage in a second incident and an attendant watched. So the first time she was sexually assaulted by Diddy, this was after dinner. Then some time went by. She ran into Diddy again and he forced her to perform oral sex in a garage and somebody watched. And then on another separate occasion, Diddy forced her to swallow ecstasy and then demanded that she have sex with Kim Porter while he masturbated and then raped her. All right. That's the third time allegedly that she been raped by Diddy. Then she also says in her lawsuit, Kim requested that the boss fire Lampros or Diddy would shut the restaurant down. Lampros was fired. So apparently she worked at a restaurant. Kim Porter wanted her fired, contacted the boss, said he wanted this lady fired. She got fired. If not, Diddy was going to tear the shit up. Okay. Then she said Diddy tried to rape her again on another encounter, but she was able to fight him off. Diddy took videos of the assault and showed them to several people, but this assault victim didn't know that he had filmed anything until years later. So let's look at this in a nutshell. This lady said that she was raped 3 different times by Diddy. Now, I'm not saying that this is a lie. Based on the video that we saw of Diddy kicking off in the Cassidy's ass, beating on her, we know that just from that one video alone, we know that he been beating her continuously while the whole time they was in a relationship. You can just believe that now, even though it may not happen, but you can just believe that based on that video. Okay. And it's hard now to deny any allegations against Diddy based on the video that we saw with him and Cassie. But I'm going to say this here. Now, I haven't went over all the lawsuits, but this one here, just like I do the little Rob one, which I'm still studying that one, looking at that one. This one here, it has to make sense. Now, I'm not saying that this lady was not sexually assaulted by Diddy. But what I am saying is that this don't make all the way sense. It could. It really could. I believe that a lot of lies is intertwined with some truth. You take a little bit of truth, you throw it in with the lie, then it can kind of make sense. Okay. Did he probably go to dinner together? Yeah. Could he have possibly forced himself on her that very first time? Yeah. And keep in mind, this is a throughout from 1995 to 1998. Once again, like I said, 3 years. So after the first time you were sexually assaulted, you never thought to call the authorities. Not one time, because you had space in between where you was not in contact with Diddy. Based on my understanding of the lawsuit, you wasn't his girlfriend. You wasn't living with him. So when and where did you have these contacts? And every time you had a contact, you was raped by this man, and you didn't report it all the way up until now. And keep in mind, this lady's attorney is the same attorney that's representing Little Rod and quite a few other people in these rape allegations against people. Her lawyer is famous for it. I get the name for you next week, but the guy's famous for it. But when you look at this whole thing, and once again, I don't advocate or support sexual assault in no kind of way, right? I'm totally against it. If you're somebody that commits that kind of act, you deserve to be punished severely, like you really, really do. Right? I have sisters. I'm a girl dad. No. I have a wife. Nah, I don't play none of that. Right? So, and cousins, aunts, nah, we ain't doing none of that. So if you that kind of person, then you need to be held accountable and severely. Right? But at the same time, I'm looking at this and I have to believe that if it happened once and you know you didn't like that encounter, why keep going back into it? Why keep giving this a second chance? And so this is just my question of this whole situation. I'm not saying that the lady is lying, but at the same time, it got to make sense, right? And also, too, at the same time, it's hard to not believe it based on the video that we just saw with Diddy, once again, assaulting Cassie. You know, Diddy's credibility is shit right now. Like, he's done, over with. This is an icon who we watch fall, and that's the end of his legacy. His story ends with him being an abuser and also accused of sexual assault and human trafficking. Now, if he ever gets charges brought against him, we don't know. And that's why I said, in this thing here, if he had videos and stuff like that and he showed them to people, then provide the evidence of it. Don't just say it. Provide the evidence of it. Because you can sue anybody about anything in America. Winning is a whole nother story. And just because somebody is a lawsuit is filed against them does not make them criminally guilty of anything, especially a civil suit. And people don't need to know the difference between that. Just because you give O.J. Simpson was found not guilty of murder, but found guilty civilly. So you got to understand that there's a difference. And trust me, people believe O.J. was guilty. Now, just because Puff settled that suit with Cassidy civilly does not mean he's guilty of anything criminally. That has to be produced. That has to be evidence of that. And so when people talk about this stuff in these letters, and also, these lawsuits, I'm going to say this here real quick also. In the criminal world, in criminal law, sexual assault really does not have a statute of limitation, right? Battery does. Just regular assault does. But in a lot of states, sexual assault, no, there's no statute of limitation on that. So if these people were sexually assaulted, then he can still be criminally charged. And keep in mind, since all these allegations have been going on, he has not been charged yet. So we have to wait. Let's keep our opinions to ourselves, especially on the criminality of things. But it is what it is. Everybody can do what they want to do. This is America. Believe what you want to believe. If you do, you don't. Who gives a fuck? No one do. No one does, because it's your opinion. It's my opinion. And that's it. Well, check this out. I appreciate everybody for tapping in with your boy. Once again, this is another episode of This Week in Rap with Inspiretheblock. And I pray that everybody have a blessed day on purpose. Once again, shout out to DJ Ynw for showing up this Sunday in my hometown of Flint, Michigan for the Beats and Barbecue. Y'all tap into that, and y'all have a blessed day on purpose.